Welcome, friends. This is a soothing flow for you, and I hope it helps you to find rest. This is great to use when you really need to restore and give back to yourself. Maybe you've been working really hard these days and really need some restorative care. Or maybe you've been giving a lot to others and want just some space to give back to yourself. This flow is for you, if that is you. We're going to be doing some very, very gentle somatic-inspired movements to help us unwind. We'll do a little bit of deep breath work to nourish the lungs, nourish the heart. And we'll be doing a couple of restorative poses at the end. And these we hold for longer periods of time to really allow ourselves to fully let go. So for this practice, I recommend maybe wearing some warm, fuzzy socks over your feet if you have them. Maybe having a little bit of a covering over you, like a hoodie or something soft and warm. The body is going to tend to cool as we do this practice. So making sure that you are set up to stay warm. You can, of course, do this in bed or on the floor, whichever you prefer. And just have a blanket with you. You can also have a pillow as well. We'll use this to support our bodies as we move today. So that is all we need. We can start by finding a comfortable position, lying down on our bed or on the floor. Feel free to bring your pillow or your blanket under your head for support. And if your knees at all become uncomfortable, that's also a really friendly way to support your body, is to put a blanket or a pillow underneath your knees. We'll take a few moments to settle in and find our centering space, the space that's just for us, where we have permission to fully focus on our bodies, focus on ourselves, our mind, our spirit, and give ourselves some care. So letting your body tell you in this moment what might feel really comfortable. Do your hands want to land maybe at your rib cage or your belly? And do your feet want to shimmy at all? Or is your body asking for some stillness? Going with the natural movement in your body. And seeing if your energy wants to sink a little bit further down, to be with your body, to be in your body, and to really, really feel the ground underneath you. And with your mind's eye, you might gently scan your body, checking out what's going on and seeing if an intention for you wants to come up for this practice. Intentions come from our inner voice, our body's voice. And just noticing, not forcing an intention to come up, but just noticing if there's any spot in your body that might be telling you it needs some soothing in this flow. We're going to be inviting in some soothing energy. And are there any areas of your body that are just asking for some soothing? Places that might be holding some tightness or tension. Wonderful. I want to invite you to slowly bring the soles of your feet to the ground with your knees pointing up toward the ceiling. Coming into constructive rest pose. And from here, just feeling into your tailbone, and go ahead and rock your tailbone to the front, arching the low back and curling the tailbone up, pressing the back just really gently into the floor. And let's take a few rocks forward and backward with our pelvis to gently release the muscles in that area. And when you feel satisfied, you can return to stillness, maybe even rock your hips a little bit from side to side, supporting with the hands if you'd like. You can stay here with your legs if you'd like, or if it's available to you, we can come into Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. And this is just bringing the soles of the feet together and allowing the knees to spread apart as far as they want to go, like they're the tips of little butterfly wings. And feeling into your body's rhythm here. My body's wanting to kind of rock a little bit back and forth. Your body might want some stillness here. Your body might want some support underneath your legs or your knees if they aren't quite touching the floor. Anywhere that your legs are landing is just right for you. We all have different ranges of motion. And if you want some support underneath your legs, feel free to pause the video and grab that for yourself. And otherwise, just kind of settling into a posture that feels comfortable to you. I'm drawing my feet in just a little bit closer to the body and wiggling the soles of my feet together back and forth, letting them touch each other. And feeling the energy from that contact point coming up just gently into my legs. You might want to rest your hands just on the outsides of your pelvis, just to give that area of your body a little bit of support. Bringing your hands around your hip bones. And allow your shoulders to relax as much as they can, as much as they want to, down into the floor. And with our hands, bringing some support to this pelvic area. This is such a sacred part of our body, our pelvis. The ingredients for creating new life are here. Our energy of healing is here. And bringing to mind in this moment what comes to your mind when you think of soothing. You might think of a warm bath or some flowing water, or maybe a person or an animal in your life who's got a really soothing presence. Maybe even a color or a light. Whatever comes up for you is just right. And allow the soothing to come into your hands, into your body, into your awareness. And we'll gently close the legs and come back to that constructive rest pose with our feet on the floor. And you might rest your knees against one another to give some support. Awesome. And we'll take our hands up into our heart center. You can land them right over your chest or right underneath your chest where your ribs kind of start to part. Wherever feels comfortable in your body, maybe one hand on top of another. Allowing our hands to be an anchor here. Let's focus now for a few moments on our breath. And asking your breath in this moment, how does it want to breathe to feel really nourishing and to feel really comfortable? You might notice your breath wanting to take bigger inhales to take in some more air, or maybe some longer exhales. Letting your breath do what it wants to do. And even allowing your head to move a little bit with the breath. Maybe a little bit from side to side. Or curving up and around with your nose. See if your breath and your head maybe want to move a little bit in tandem. Maybe even stretch the neck a little bit as you move your head from side to side and continue breathing. This is beautiful, integrating that we're doing between the head and the breath. And it has such a profound impact on the heart when we bring our head and our breath together. When we breathe really consciously, really intentionally, like we're doing right now, our heart is sensing support. Our heart has such a huge, huge, huge job that it does on its own every moment, every beat. It's responsible for our circulation, our vitality, really. Every time our heart beats, it is pumping blood throughout the rest of our body. And that blood is giving all of the cells in our body nutrients and oxygen. And then it's carrying away carbon dioxide that our body doesn't need or want anymore, and waste products as well. Such a huge, huge role, huge job that our heart plays. And when we give our hearts nice full breaths, it's sensing support. There's an awareness, oh, I'm not alone. And the heart can relax. The heartbeats can slow down a little bit. If they've been racing or if the heart's been working hard. And then that has an effect on our thoughts as well. Our thoughts slow down. There's more space in our mind. There's more space for flow. Seeing if you can allow that flow to just continue to happen. Even getting your shoulders involved if you want to. You can kind of raise one shoulder at a time off the ground and back down, nice and slow. Beautiful. When you're ready, you can come back to stillness. And from here, let's take a couple of movements with our arms and our legs to unwind them. Starting with our arms. Again, placing our hands over our chest. Before we move on, taking a breath in to invite in some love. From our heart into our hands. And let's take that out and stretch our arms into a T. Palms facing up. Again, rocking the head back and forth if that feels good to you. And placing your right palm down and your left palm up. Go ahead and reach toward the left and relax. Switch your palm directions. Turn your left palm toward the ground and your right palm up, and let's reach to the right and relax. I want to invite you to reach your arms back and forth in a little bit of a flow that feels good in your body. Allowing your head and your shoulders and your back to follow the direction that your hands are going. 2 or 3 rounds like that, and then you can let go. And take a nice full breath into the chest here. And release out through the mouth. Beautiful. Allow the arms to just rest now. And notice any new sensations that might have come into your arms, maybe some fresh blood flow, maybe some warmth. You can keep your arms here, or you can gently slide your hands upward so that they become parallel with your elbows into a cactus position. If this is a strain at all, you can keep your arms at a T position. That's no problem. We're wanting to invite a little bit of openness and stretch into our whole heart center, extending out into our arms. And let's unwind our legs a little bit here. Planting your left leg down on the ground. You can cross your right ankle over your left and stay here, or if it's available, you can cross your whole right leg over your left leg. So find a position that feels comfortable to you. And let's go ahead and gently rock the knees to the right. Not coming too far, just maybe a couple inches or a few inches. And then guide your knees back to center. And rock them a little bit to the left and back to center. And the right. Back to center. And to the left. Back to center. Inviting in a little bit more space to come into your obliques. And inviting some gentle squeezes and releases into your legs here, as we're just gently rocking back and forth. And when you're ready, you can let that go and unwind your legs. Coming back to our constructive rest. You can reach your arms up overhead like you're in a good morning stretch here, if you'd like to. And bring them up and over your body. Allowing the arms to just rest by your sides now. Let's take our legs on the other side in those twists. So crossing your left ankle over your right, or crossing your knee over, whichever feels more comfortable in your body. And keeping your arms where they are, go ahead and let the knees fall to the right side, stopping when you want to. And guide them back to center. Dropping them to the left. Just a few inches. And coming back to center. Finding a nice rhythm in your body. And as we're doing this. And if your arms want to come again into that good morning stretch, you can glide your hands up over your head and let your arms reach and release with your legs at this point. We are gently inviting tension that our muscles might be carrying from the day to let go. With every little reach, feeling that effort, and with every little release, just allowing that effort to melt down. And you might be wanting to move a little bit slower than me or a little bit faster than me. Remembering our breath again as we do this. Seeing if we can take in nice full breaths with every reach. And maybe exhaling as we release. We'll take maybe one or two more of these movements. And when you're ready, you can unwind your legs and bring your arms back down to your sides. We'll stretch your legs out long. And let's give your legs a good opportunity to reach and release too. Placing your hands again on your pelvis and allow your pelvis to reach forward so that your feet reach a little bit further away from you and release back and forth, right to left, reach and release. You can extend your legs further out into a V shape if that is comfortable in your body as well. If your legs maybe want a little bit more of a stretch in your thighs. And take as many of those as you want to. And when you're ready, you can come back to stillness. Once again, allowing the shoulders to relax. We'll move now into a restorative pose called half frog. And this is a pose that we're going to be holding for a few minutes. And I'll guide you into setting up for it. Keeping your blanket or your pillow right underneath your head. I want to invite you to come to lay flat on your belly and let your face rest on the blanket or the pillow. And let your left cheek rest against the pillow. You can bring your arms out into a T again, or you can bring them into that kind of reverse cactus pose if it feels comfortable for your palms to be parallel to your elbows. And take a breath here and get used to this shape. And the next step is to guide your right foot out making a little bit of a V shape, letting that foot stop where it wants to stop. We're inviting in a bit of a hip opener here, and this is a wonderful way to give care to our hips if we have pain in that area, and also to give care to any emotions that we might be storing in that part of our body, help them release. We want to feel really, really good and fully supported in this pose. So I'll give you a few options for where you can land with your hips in this pose, and you choose what feels the most comfortable and nourishing in your body. So if you'd like to draw the knee, your right knee, the one that's extended, up to where it's perpendicular or parallel to your right hip. And you can let your right foot rest on the ground. If that's uncomfortable, you can go back to the V shape or bring your knee anywhere in between. There's also an opportunity here to place a pillow or a blanket underneath your calf and your knee and your foot for some support if that feels good. And otherwise, just resting here. We'll stay here for a couple of minutes. Feeling your rib cage pressing against the ground here. Every time you take an inhale, and allowing that pressure to give your heart a nice feeling of covering, a nice feeling of backing. Noticing any soothing, nourishing energy that the cells in your body might want to drink up right now, the parts of your body that are thirsty. Allow them to drink. In nourishment. Noticing which places in your body might feel thirsty or might feel tense or tight. And inviting a little bit of soothing into those spaces. And taking care of our neck here. If your neck ever becomes uncomfortable, shimmying your head a little bit until it feels a little bit more comfortable. You might tuck the chin. And you can very, very slowly bring your extended leg back to center and lower your arms back down to center as well. And very, very slowly turning to the other side, just starting with your head at first. I'm going to demonstrate here on the other side. And so turning your head so that your right cheek now is resting on the blanket or on the pillow. And letting your arms come into a T or cactus. And taking that left foot out into a V shape. Letting your left foot tell you where it wants to stop. And from here, guiding the left knee up until it's parallel with your left hip, if that feels comfortable. Or letting the knee land wherever it does feel comfortable for you. And feel free to take some shimmies with your hips here if there's any tension that wants to be released here. And allow yourself to settle in on this side. Giving yourself permission to totally let go. You don't have to do anything. You can just receive. Allowing your breath to be nice and smooth. And allowing, again, any thirsty pockets of your body, cells of your body to drink. Drink in the nourishment that is here for you from the ground. And again, tucking the chin to give the neck some space if your neck starts to feel tight. And feeling free to take any shimmies in this position that your body might be asking for too. Maybe wiggling the ankles a little bit back and forth or wiggling the shoulders. And once again, as you're breathing, feeling that anchor between the ground and your ribs. Noticing how the ribs expand every time you inhale. And letting your heart feel the boundary of your ribs, the covering of the ground, the protection. And allowing any effort, any tension that's in your body to just totally melt. Let's take a few more just really valuable breaths here to linger with ourselves before we transition to our final resting pose. Great job. You can let your left leg slowly move back to center. Let your arms come back down to center. Then you can gently roll over onto your back. We'll spend our last moment here in Shavasana. So coming into any position that feels restful for you, you can bring the knees into the chest and hold them there. You can come back into constructive rest, or you can just simply lie with your limbs open on the ground. And we'll just take this last moment to let our nervous system digest and integrate what we just did. You can stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like to. If you've done this right before bed, feel free to let yourself fall asleep. And otherwise, I hope that you feel a little bit more grounded and restored. And know that you can return to this practice regularly if you want to give yourself rest when you need it. Thanks for making time for you, for taking care of yourself. See you next time.